FNAF Security Breach is a game that 90% of the FNAF community hates. These people claim that the game isn't scary at all. It is a walking simulator. The lore is horrible, and it even goes in the same group that is mascot horror, the bad side. I'm not one of these people. I don't think the game is that bad, and I have fun whenever I play it. Although the gameplay is not a walking simulator, it is kind of lackluster compared to the other installments. I could say that myself. But I believe the best part of the game, gameplay-wise, is the Burntrap Boss Fight. After replaying this, I think that the game is actually kind of fun, and that with some tweaking, it can be excellent. So I'm gonna split this into two parts, talking about the boss and its gameplay loop, and talking about the flaws and making it better. So let's just get started already. Allow me to introduce the boss fight and its gameplay loop. The big bad is Afton, like FNAF 3. In order to beat him, you have to burn him using the buttons next to the monitors. It's similar to FNAF 6 in that there's no timer that you must run out. The other characters are Chica, Monty, Roxy, and the Blob. There are two doors on your left and right and a vent in the middle. You can close these, but each of them have limited power. I like the new change of pace in that the doors have limited power instead of the whole place. Chica comes on the left and right doors. Simply close them to get her out of your office, hideout, happy place. Same goes for Monty, except this time he comes through the vent. Roxy comes through the left or right door, but the doors will not stop her. Hi! You actually don't hide for some unknown reason. You actually have to hide in Freddy and use the special voice box to repel her. The Blob is like Roxy, but worse. Their tentacles go through the sewers and wiggle around like worms. If you collide with them, you get... In order to stop him, you have to hop into Freddy and get out. That's it. Once you do that, all the tentacles go away. Steel made a patch to this boss fight in one of its many updates that made the power a lot more strict. It still isn't an issue, but it is significantly tighter. The last thing I really have to mention is Freddy himself. Burntrap takes control of him or something on the cams, so you burn him to save Freddy and just to screw him over. If Burntrap takes control of him for too long, Freddy actually gets purple eyes and instantly runs at you to jump scare you, which is pretty cool. There's also his actual mechanics. He has very limited battery power to not make him OP, so you can only use him for a little bit. But once his battery gets too low, he actually goes into the recharge station and just chills there. Soon later he comes back out and you can use him again. I kind of like this mechanic because not only does it make him not OP, but it also makes it another defense mechanism against animatronics like Roxy and the Blob. That is all there is to say about the gameplay loop itself. But it does have many flaws that don't make it great. The biggest one for everyone is that it's too easy. Don't quote me on this, but I think you have to burn him 8 times to beat the boss fight. I feel like this is a little too low. I think if it was increased to 12 burns, that would make this decently long and allows many attacks from the enemies. Speaking of attacks, I'm pretty sure only one can come at a time. So if you haven't dealt with Roxy, no one else will come. I think if multiple characters could collide at the same time and just come more often, it would just be a lot more action-packed. Then there are some things that literally only I have thought of. The saddest part of Security Breach for me personally is that nobody used the cameras. It feels like after getting the daycare pass, the cameras were erased from everybody's minds. Throughout my whole playthrough, I was using the cameras to help me or just to look at the areas. The daycare, endo section, DJ Music Man, and the Burntrap Boss. I think if people were to use the cameras, it would be here. But the cameras are completely pointless because of the audio cues and the fact that you could just look through the doors. So let's take all of that out. I don't want to completely take out the sounds, just limit them. I would remove the voices like Roxy crying, Monty grunting, and Chica's yeah. So all there would be is the footsteps and crawling, so you would actually have to look at the doors. But what if you couldn't? If you simply take out the lights from the corridors and make it so that Roxy and Chica are only visible right at the door, and obviously you can't see Monty. All of this together would make it so that you actually have to use the cameras to see who's coming at you. Oh, and also, what the hell is this? Let's just flip that a bit. There. I would also make it so that Chica couldn't get affected by the Phaser Blaster or the Phascam. This makes it so that the only thing stopping her are the doors. Why couldn't she get affected? I don't know, Balloon Boy stole your batteries. And lastly, let's just fix some bugs and glitches. You can get some goofy glitches during this fight, so just patching them would already be better. I think when combining all of these changes, this boss fight goes from a battle with massive potential to an excellent boss fight that takes skill. Now this boss fight is actually good. Why not make it harder? Yeah, I decided to make a nightmare mode for this just for fun. Nightmare mode would just make the boss harder and maybe for some more fun. So what will this hard version change? Well, let's start with length. Yeah, baby, we're going even longer! 16 burns. Other than that, Freddy will be very nerfed. Normally, when Freddy runs out of power, he goes to charge. Now, once he runs out, he will be permanently useless and you will not be able to use him. So that means you have another tool that you have to manage accordingly. You will probably only be able to repel Roxy and the Blob once or maybe twice in a round, so they will just become permanent after a while. I think that alone, combined with the longer duration, makes this harder by a pretty large margin. Okay, I'm done. I've been blabbing for a while for something that will literally not happen, so I'll just make this short. I think I've boosted a C tier gameplay loop to an A tier just by making some pretty small adjustments. I hope I have made this enjoyable, as this is not my usual type of content I like to upload. So thank you all for watching. Dislike the video as much as humanly possible, and with that, I will see you in the next one. Toodaloo.